Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be my third Q&A video answers segment leading up to the Walking Dead Season 5, continuing to answer your guys' questions. Alright, good stuff. So I've kind of been enjoying doing these, just basically any questions people are sending me, I'm adding them to the list. The list is growing, and I'm also answering the questions that were originally sent to me in the original Q&A questions video where I asked for them. So that's kind of cool. These are good. It gives me a chance to kind of answer just some random questions you guys have without having to dedicate an entire video to just one, because some of them don't. I can only talk about each one for like a minute, couple minutes, that kind of thing. It doesn't make sense to do a whole video on just one quick little question. So I think I'll continue with these at least for a while, maybe right on through till we get close to the start of The Walking Dead Season 5. Every few days, once a week, irregular type schedule, just kind of throw them up whenever I get a chance, on an odd day, maybe when I don't have a topic to do. So we're continuing now, part 3. If you missed the first 2 parts, feel free to check the channel. They're both in there. You can watch the first 2 sections, and going to continue now with question number 12. So question number 12 comes from Liam Dyer. And his question is, Trev, in your opinion, what has been The Walking Dead's biggest mistake so far in the television series? That's a tough one, man. That is a tough one. So in terms of the direction of the show, what's the biggest mistake they've made so far? Ooh, man, that is a tough one. There's been some that I really haven't liked. I'd put near the top of that list the death of Dale. Now, that was due to other circumstances. His actor wanted out, Jeffrey DeMunn, I believe, wanted out after Frank Darabont was ousted. That brings up another one, Frank Darabont being let go and causing that, as well as many other things. There's been some really big mistakes in the series. I'd say story-wise, killing Dale has to be up there. Killing Andrea, I think, was another one that, they killed her off, but she had a lot of potential to really become something. Granted, because they made her go with the governor, I can kind of see how they did it. But just, I like the way Andrea is handled a lot more in the comic book series. Same with Dale. Aside from that, mistakes, oh man. I mean, aside from that, the show's been really, really solid. There's a few, but I would say aside from that, the show's been really great all the way through. And nothing's perfect no matter what. But probably from a production standpoint, the biggest mistake they ever made was probably getting rid of Frank Darabont, the guy that came up with the idea to do the series. Yes, Robert Kirkman's books were there. The comic books were out there and they were incredible. But Frank Darabont initially was the guy who said, we can make this into an awesome television series. And he did it. He created it for them. He got them to that point. And then they basically said, okay, thanks for making this monster for us. We don't need you anymore. Peace out. See you later. We don't want to pay you. You're too argumentative, whatever the case may be. We're not giving you the budget you want, so get lost. I would say that the biggest mistake was letting go of Frank Darabont with the series. He should still be in there. He should still be on the show. And I think the show would be much better if Darabont was still in there. I think it would be even better. It's been incredible, and it has gotten a lot better, I think, since it started, because of our connection to the characters, as it should over the long term, is how we feel for them. But if Darabont was still there, I think we'd get a lot more of that connection mixed in as well. So not that he directs every episode or everything, but I think that he was a crucial person that is responsible for the success of the series, and that was a big mistake for them, not giving the show a big enough budget for season 2 and firing Darabont. Bad move, I think, in my opinion, because that guy's a genius. Who knows what it could have been if he was still on the show. It could be even better than it is now. So who knows? Next question is, do you think AMC made any mistakes on casting actors for The Walking Dead? This is from Nathan Grice. Maybe he saw the previous question and that, helped him formulate his question. AMC made any mistakes on casting actors? So any actors that have been kind of miscast. At first, when David Morrissey was cast as the governor, I thought it was a mistake because he looks nothing like the governor from the comic book series. But the funny thing is, over time, I actually grew to like him a lot more than the governor from the comic book series. So that definitely, in the long run, I'd see not as a mistake and was actually a good call. And that the comic book series version of the governor kind of looks stupid to me David Morrissey looks more like the type of guy that could be a wolf in sheep's clothing and look really clean cut and everything, put on this great presentation, to his people, and then have this twisted side. So he did an amazing job. So definitely not him. Some people don't like the actress that was cast as Andrea. I can kind of see that. She looks like her, but I don't think she's a bad actress or anything. But just the whole, like everything with Andrea in the show was not that great. Aside from that, any mistakes on casting? I think everybody else has been really good for the most part. Even new character Gareth as Chris from the comic book series, he's pretty much a spitting image. So for the most part, I'd say no. I think the casting's been great. I don't think they really added on anybody that was bad or anything of the sort like that. It's been really good. I don't think there's been many mistakes with the casting. I think it's been solid. Going on from there, next one is, do you think Carol will commit suicide in the show like she did in the comics for different reasons, obviously? From Feeblebird903. That would be cool. Well, okay. Would that be cool? It would make a lot of sense considering what she's had to go through, where she's at right now, and what she's been forced to do, just kind of living with her inner demons, for her to just shoot herself or something. But you'd almost think if she was going to do it, she probably would have already done it when she was alone, right? If she survived on her own, alone, out there in the world by herself and didn't kill herself, and she, came back for Mika and Lizzie and did that, you'd almost kind of think if she was going to, she'd kill herself right directly after she had to shoot Lizzie. She would do it to herself. So I kind of think that, they could go down that route, but in season 5, it's possible. But I'd kind of prefer them not to, even though it does make sense logically that she might just decide, forget it. She's killed them, she's killed others. She could put herself down if she just decided, you know what, I'm opting out. I'm really not enjoying this very much anymore. And just kill herself. But it'd be kind of predictable because of what happened in the comic books. So I don't think they're gonna. I don't think they're gonna do it, even though it does make sense. And I wouldn't really like to see it either. So that's that one. Next question is, what would have happened with Tyrese and the girls if Carol never found them? Man, that's a tough one. So could Tyrese and the girls with Judith survive without Carol? Could they have? Well, I think that it might have ended up in a similar type of circumstance. Mika probably would be killed by Lizzie sooner or later because she's crazy. Lizzie would probably get herself killed just by playing with walkers all the time out in the open and stuff. Tyrese wouldn't be able to. Tyrese would be having to take care of Judith, and he'd probably keep her alive, but the other two would die off. So I think that in the long run, it probably would be similar. I think he would be able to keep Judith safe by himself, but the girls, there's no way. Sooner or later, they would get it. But we've seen how many walkers he can take out. I think he'd be able to protect Judith, unless he asked Lizzie to stay, gave her to Lizzie and didn't realize, what was going on. In that case, yeah, so that's risky too. So I think it turned out for the best that it could have possibly. That'd be a tough one to say. So, probably either turn out the same, or maybe if Lizzie killed Judith first, that would be terrible. But I think it'd probably end up mostly the same way, because you lost those two anyway, so it wasn't like Carol saved them or anything, so next question is, what would happen if the governor joined the prison group by Channel Terminus? I've kind of answered this one before in a previous Q&A. People have asked me to do videos on this one. I haven't, because it doesn't make sense. The governor is smart enough, with the strategy, mentality, the tactics, the chess player. He's not going to. He wouldn't do it, because he knows that there's too many people there that would try to kill him. There's Michonne, who couldn't help herself for Andrea, would try to kill him any chance she got. Daryl, with what happened to Merle, would try to kill him any chance he got. And there's no way Rick could keep them in line. So there's no way the governor would agree to put himself in that situation, because he knows that somebody sooner or later is going to shoot him when he's not looking, or he couldn't live that way. So that's why he didn't accept it when Rick kind of made the offer. Herschel said it can work. It can work for you guys, but it would not work for the governor himself. You see what I'm saying? It wouldn't work for him himself. And the other thing too is that he's kind of right about is, as soon as one group runs out of supplies and the other group has some, then you've got war right away, right? So unless they shared it, which I don't think the governor would be willing to do that either. So it just overall, like I said in the previous one, it wouldn't happen. The governor wouldn't allow it to go down that way. It just wouldn't work. Last question for this one, number 17 is going to be, why do you think there are never any kids or young teen walkers when there are herds of zombies? By James Bond. Why do I think there's no children? Well, there have been a few, kid zombies here and there throughout the series, like the little girl from episode 1, back with mentioned Frank Darabont, the premiere, with the bunny slipper, or the bunny ears and the rabbit ears, and what was it, like a teddy bear she had, something like that. But there's never any with herds. Well, they're not very intimidating, that's for sure. So, they're not going to draw it in with, like a teenage walker or anything of the sort. We kind of have an idea of what we expect to see as like a random zombie out there, even though it doesn't make sense. You're right, there should be some younger ones. I guess if you want to try to use logic to rationalize this, you could say the younger ones, if they're killed by zombies, they're going to be eaten and there won't be enough left for them to move around. Make sense? Because they're so small and young, when they get eaten, they're not going to have enough like muscle mass left retained to get up and move, right? But that's rational. There probably should be. It's just that they're not that scary, so they tend to not. I think they only use kids as zombies when it's for particular scenes like that. Aside from that, for the most part, you're not going to see many kid zombies in herds. Yeah, just aesthetically, because of the production reasons, you're not going to. Logically, you probably should see a few, but you don't. So I don't know what more you want me to say about that. So that's that. I'll call it here for this one. Like I said, going on about 10, 12 minutes, so I'll stop there, and we'll continue with the next one. That's it for Q&A 3. We'll continue with the answers. If you guys enjoy these, please let me know, and I'll continue doing them if you do. Anyway, I'll call it here. That's it for this video, guys. I'll see you for the next one. This is Trev, as always, saying peace.